No, he has us.
I can believe an advanced alien could come to Earth with the thoughts of a woman.
I don't know that this thing can be killed.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I am the most complete fighter in the world. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
You can call it the art of fighting without fighting.
Stick around. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Dodge this.
Welcome to episode 18 of Dodge This, Action Movies Unleashed. It's an exciting episode. It is a monumental episode. Some of us wondered if it would ever happen. It's happened. The return of Matthew Heighton. He's here in the flesh. Welcome back.
Oh,
Matt.
thanks, mate. I was generally expecting you to say we've hit 20 episodes or something like that.
Not yet.
Nope.
No.
Just being nice to me. Hello.
It's a self-imposed milestone, basically, in a way. You fucked off and then came back, so we have a reason to celebrate. And otherwise, number 18, not really a big number, is it?
Unless you are human.
That's true, actually, yeah. Oh, that's
Our
true.
podcast Become an Adult. It can drink in the UK.
My little boy all grows up. That's exciting, isn't it? Welcome back, Matt. You've missed 2 episodes. Have you done the homework and caught up and watched the movies?
The movies on the previous episodes? Absolutely not. I've barely had time to... I mean, I'd say that. I watched loads of films last week, and neither of the ones you talked about.
You haven't watched... Did you watch The Grey Man?
No, I keep going to, and I've heard such bad things. I just can't. I can't put it on.
That's absolutely fair. I thought it was all right. I'd say give it a look if you've got time. But yeah, there's plenty of other stuff going on. One of those other things that you can watch in your house and not in the cinema is the movie we're talking about on today's episode. It is Prey, a.k.a. Predator 11?
God
7,
knows.
5.
God knows. See if you can name them all. You have to do it chronologically. See if you can name them all.
Predator.
Yeah.
Predator 2, back in action. I'm already falling off. Predators.
Yeah.
The Predator.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think they're the official Predator movies. Then, sidestep, Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
Alien versus Predator, Requiem.
Yeah. And then Prey 8.
And so then Prey. Prey is technically Predator 5. I guess Alien versus Predator is what? A spin-off? I don't know what that is. I will say this. I have only seen 2 of those movies that I listed. I suspect you've maybe seen more and can shed a little bit more light when we get to it a bit later.
Every Predator film going and consume some unofficial Predator stuff as well.
You got to be proud of that. Now, Matthew, it's been a while since you've not been here. I was peppering the podcast with various bits of intrigue and teasers as to why you weren't here. But I didn't really give anyone any concrete details.
Yeah.
Now is the time. You're back.
Yeah.
Can you shed any light on why you've been absent from class for the last 2 episodes?
I was a retired soldier.
Oh boy.
And I thought I was out.
One last job?
I thought I was out, and then my colonel came for one last job. And you know what?
No.
Given the way the economy's going and stuff, I was like, sure.
Can't say no to the payday.
Thought I'd be gone a week, double-crossed, left for dead. You know it is. Bruce Willis was there. And just...
You had to train yourself back into action.
I did. I had a montage, but I did the amount of training that a montage would take real time rather than cumulative over the...
Right, a whole actual month of training.
So whereas a montage would be like months and months in, say, I don't know, a minute and a half. Yeah. I just did a minute and a half cardio. Felt knackered.
And then waited.
Yeah.
And then
a lot of people died. A lot of people
weeks.
died.
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
But no, I've been filming. It's been very exciting, and I'm not allowed to talk about it yet.
Man, that's like some Marvel Cinematic Universe bullshit, isn't it? Where you're just like, can you give us any details about Matthew Heighton Phase 5, and you're like,
Yeah.
if I do, a Disney sniper kills me.
Phase 5, bigger, tireder.
40.
Yeah. Not yet.
That's Phase 5. It's the next phase.
Yeah,
It's the next
yeah,
phase.
yeah.
Very unsatisfactory in terms of information release. I'm sure people are intrigued. Keep us updated. That's what we want to hear. Yes. So you've had a month off of mandated podcast movie watching. But
Yeah.
what have you watched that doesn't include The Grey Man or The Roundup?
Okay. I watched a load of old stuff that I love, like The Departed was watched for the first
Great
time
movie.
in years.
Great movie.
Absolutely incredible. And now I know there's rats everywhere, little rats running around everywhere.
It's a little bit on the nose with the CG rat at the end, isn't it? I don't know why they put that in.
I
Apart from that,
forgot about that, and I really loved it. Really loved it. I forgot, like, it's just a weird off comedy beat. Great. I spent a day when I was absolutely knackered watching the entire new Resident Evil series.
what?
Yeah.
How bad is it?
Do you know what? I am so mixed on this. When it's bad,
Let me start by saying it's bad.
but it isn't. It isn't. This is the thing, because I love the games. Like Resident Evil and Resident Evil 2 are my favorite 2 games of all time.
Same, big fan.
So they absolutely hit the notes that you want as a game fan in certain places, but then miss the mark so completely in others.
Oh.
You're like, how are these two things not joining up? But when it's good, as a game, like a fan of the series of the games, great. And you know what? It's got some good action sequences. It's got some good bits. But then there's just that thing that, I don't know, just something off. And I don't, you know, you can't really put your finger where it is on something, because you know it's not great, but at the same time, you know, it's brilliant in places. So I don't know. I think it's weird, because I'd say if you're a fan of the games, I think you'll love it. But in actual fact, it's the opposite. I think if you're a fan of the games, you'll hate it. And if you don't know the games, you'll hate it. So there's like a really weird niche people like me who go, I don't hate this. Yeah.
It's nothing for nobody. Is the
I don't know.
summation of this series.
It's getting panned more than I think it needs to get panned. I've looked at some of the reviews, and I think they are way off the mark. They're giving it really low. And I think, do you know what? It's not without merit at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's just finding its stride. I think they'll probably see if it gets the second series, God knows with Netflix. If it gets another series, I think they'll probably lean on their strengths a bit more and properly focus it. Which, you know what? A lot of American shows do. They come in with a first series, which is, yeah, it's good. And then they absolutely smash it. So
don't
I've
find
got
that
big
stride
hopes.
till later. Yeah,
Big
fair.
hopes,
I'm
actually.
I'm willing and ready for a good Resident Evil show. I'm huge fan of the video games, but haven't watched any of the movies since probably the first Resident Evil movie.
Big guilty pleasure. The film. I don't like them, but I do love.
Somebody's watching them. They keep churning them out. Okay, so you watched Evil, you watched Departed.
And then of the big releases, I got to see Thor, which I really enjoyed.
I have not seen the new Thor. Heard mixed things about it.
Again, it's one of those things where we've said this before. No one seems to allow films to just be good.
Right.
Do you know
just
what I mean?
3-star.
It's a good film. It's a really good film. And when it is at its best, it's great. And I think, like, I love the tone of the Thor films. Like, a lot of people forget, like, I don't want to say it, but how bad Thor Dark World was compared to a lot of the MCU, which again is a good blockbuster film. It's not a terrible film.
Yeah.
But like, they forget that Thor was really struggling. Taika Waititi really sort of took those characters and made them work in a place that should be absolutely obscene. But I mean, Christian Bale is fantastic in it. It looks absolutely beautiful. The comedy beats are there. You know what? Taika Waititi knows the genres he loves. And what I love seeing it in it is you see a lot of him and the actors in it now. And I love it. Absolutely no problems with it.
He's just given free reign to do whatever he wants.
Well, it's just that thing, isn't it? It's like, if you look at it against something like, what's it called? The Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Haven't seen
where
it yet.
Sam Raimi's really present in it, but something doesn't quite click.
No.
Like, I think the Thor film doesn't fall down on anything but people's expectations of what it should be. I think that's where, like, when you look at the criticism and stuff, and people are like, I think people just want too much from him. I think it's up there on the top side of the Marvel films. And
Okay.
yeah, there you go.
Well, as soon as it hits Disney's Plus, or ideally if it hits Disney's Plus this month, because I have paid for 1 month of Disney's Plus so that I could watch Prey. Also, I heard something very exciting about Thor: Love and Thunder. Having not seen it, my friend said, I think you're really going to like the post-credits sequence. And I had no idea what he meant. And then, the internet eventually delivered me the incredible news that your friend and mine, Brett Goldstein, appears as Hercules. He's gonna be in a Marvel movie.
I generally
absolutely mind-boggling.
Just lit up when I saw it because I had no idea it was going to happen. I had no clue. And like, Brett's someone who's always been incredibly talented, and you knew from the moment you've ever seen Brett either on stage or in something, you knew whatever this guy does, it's going to be big. And I thought, like, you can't get much bigger than being on Sesame Street, which he did. And I was generally was just like desperate to text him, going, "Oh my god, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened to me, let alone you."
I think you both did the same. I texted him going like, "How long have you been sitting on this Marvel news? This is insane." And he apparently it was only like a month or so, but he was like, "Didn't even tell my close family."
Yeah,
because the Disney snipers will get you.
But it's incredible. Like, again, just a very, very good human being doing very good things, and ideally he'll get absolutely jacked for it. Like, they'll just they'll shove him on some sort of, give him a trainer that lives with him, and you'll just see him one day, and he'll just be absolutely massive.
He's eating broccoli and chicken breasts for the next 6 months, and he's coming out like Kumail Nanjiani in Eternals.
I don't want him to have a neck anymore. That's how big I want him to get.
He also has a very successful film podcast. Is there anything he can't do?
Yeah. In fact, screw that guy,
Yeah, right.
Too nice, too successful.
We are in direct competition with Brett's film podcast.
They're looking at the figures and they're going, "Oh, they're threatening you."
Oh, we are really creeping up on him. Soon enough, we'll have Brene Brown on this podcast talking about her favorite action movies.
Anyway, we could talk about that all the other one, because I want to talk to you about this, because we were going to do an episode on this, and then you were like, "I don't think I've got enough to say about this," whereas I quite enjoyed it. So the other one, obviously, we've both seen, and for the listeners now, I will reveal to be Bullet Train, which I really enjoyed. But you were your old curmudgeon self about it.
I thought it was fine. In a completely unrelated turn of events, I have read the book Bullet Train this year. So I was quite interested to see the movie. And I've just thought, I don't know. I went in thinking it's David Leitch, who directed Deadpool and co-directed John Wick. It's 87 North and some Phantom Furiousers. For me, it just wasn't enough of anything, really. Like, it wasn't, the action was like, all right. There was this sort of that really heavy arch, like tongue-in-cheek tone, fine. I don't know, it just wasn't the sum of its parts for me. I didn't not enjoy it, but like you said earlier, unless I cut it out, 3-star movies should be allowed to exist, and I thought this was just like bang on a 3-star movie. I thought, that was absolutely fine, and then the minute I left the cinema, I was like, eh.
I really enjoyed it. It really made me laugh out loud a few times as well. I thought the tone was great. It's the sort of film, I think this sums it up perfectly for me. It's the exact sort of film that I would have bought in my 20s on DVD and repeatedly watched.
Yes.
For no other reason than it is very enjoyable. It's not going to change my life. I'm not going to quote it loads. I'm probably, like you say, well, probably won't be, like John Wick will stay with me forever. This will probably fade, and then I'll see it in 10 years and go, "Oh yeah, I really enjoyed that."
Right.
But I just think it's one of those films. It feels like it belongs in that sort of post Kill Bill Tarantino era. Like, it's kind of like if Tarantino made a whodunit starring the dude on a train. And I think that's kind of what it is.
I described it as if Guy Ritchie directed a cartoon.
Nice.
Which I think the Venn diagram of all of those things is true, to be fair. Like, it has got a bit of Tarantino to it. It has got a bit of Guy Ritchie. There's a lot of that, like, go London Gazery to
I
it.
really enjoyed that. I really did. Once I got used to the accent, there's something really weird about hearing a British accent in an American film because suddenly it really jars you. Even
Yes.
though you hear it all the time, it's probably completely normal. It really throws you off.
I think in that instance, it's like two people playing Cockney gangsters, one of whom is a British guy and one of whom is an American guy doing his absolute best Cockney accent, which is reasonably good.
Again, I don't know. I thought it was really, really enjoyable. And I thought it was really slick.
I think he tried very hard.
It was a really slick and really well put together. The cameos really made me laugh. And I thought
One
that's
cameo
really
made me
nice.
laugh. One cameo was like, that guy is oversaturated right now. He needs to just take his foot off the gas a little bit. He's got to like go on a sabbatical for a year, do something, get himself out of the public consciousness. He's in too many things. He seems like a nice guy. I like him.
Yeah,
There was like a lot to like in it. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad film, but I think for me, it suffered from, I don't care about any of the characters in this film. So really it's just sort of like being on a fairground ride where I'm just like, oh, look, whoa, the two people are having a fight who I'm not invested in.
I quite like unlikable characters. I like the sort of way it meanders through, and I like this sort of very loose philosophy of it all. And I like that everyone has a title for their character, and everything is like very, like I say, that sort of mid 2000s style editing. I really enjoyed it.
I bet if I was 21, I would like this movie a lot more.
It's completely that. It's the sort of film I think I would have watched at uni, like I say, and then just
if it had come out in 2005, I would have loved it. But it's now, and I've seen all the movies between now and then, so it just didn't quite. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was talking to another friend of mine about it, and Simon Lucas from the Boom Chicago cast and the London comedy scene, who, as you will know because you've definitely listened to the last couple of episodes, gave The Grey Man 2 stars, I believe, or 2.5 stars. And for this movie, he said, there's just a lot of moments where you go, sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course that's happened. Of course he's done that. All right. Yeah. Go on, mate. Whatever. And I think that was the whole movie had that vibe to it. Also, it felt like it really, even though it was clearly a high budget movie and it looked very nice and it was very well shot, the fact that the whole thing was so clearly filmed in a studio, in a set with green screen everywhere, just it felt like a Netflix movie, you know?
I disagree on that because I thought it looked really pretty on the silver screen. I think there's something about digital filmmaking that is just you can't cover the cracks like you used to. Like I always think about Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I don't know how true this is, but I remember someone saying when they shot it in 60 frames per second, they didn't want any CGI, and then unless it was necessary, but then they had to CGI over loads of stuff to cover the fact that it was clearly prosthetics because it's just too crisp and too clear.
Right.
And I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think weirdly, we expect so much of filmmaking now when it looks too good.
Yeah.
We instantly disown it.
Yeah, I think it's more like people complain about the CG in The Grey Man being too much and too obvious. But like in The Grey Man's defense, they do obviously go to a whole bunch of foreign locations to make it look expensive. Whereas I would stick my neck out and say not one member of this cast stepped foot in Japan to film this entire movie. It was filmed on a sound stage in wherever in the world you get the biggest tax breaks to build all those sets.
Probably London now.
Possibly, or, you know, like Estonia or somewhere. And even like the finale, it was just like, yeah, well, that's a very nice looking studio set. Jolly
that
good.
was the only time. That's the only time that I thought it was very clearly a studio set. I thought the train, they very much did the train sets very well.
Yeah. And again, it's a train. They're not going to film it on a real train driving through Japan. But there was, I had a couple of little flashbacks to the Matrix and that scene on the train in the Matrix where it's, you know,
the new one.
so much CG. It's just too much. Yeah, it turns out we probably could have quite a good back and forth episode about Bullet Train, but I think it's fine. I enjoyed it for 2 hours, but I think it's a solid 3-star.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
I will say this. I paid €12 to watch Bullet Train, 3-star. I've paid $8.99 to watch Prey, and I get a whole month of other movies.
You should have a look on Star on Disney. It's like your everyone's DVD collection from about 2002 to about 2007.
Perfect.
It just seems to be all the
just
films.
Bullet Train, like Smoking Aces, all those sort of types of movies.
Swordfish.
The Kill Bills. Swordfish. Okay, the only other thing I saw was the rehearsal on HBO Max, the new Nathan Fielder show, which if you haven't seen is an absolute mental mindfuck comedy awkwardness show that I recommend everyone just digs out and watches, because I cannot do it justice by explaining it here.
Welcome to the party, pal!
It's time for some trailers.
All right, Mario.
It's a trailers time. All right, let's get in head on here. A big one dropped this month. It's the sequel to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. You must have seen this, Matt. You're a huge Marvel fan.
I saw it within seconds of it being out. I think.
Of course.
I was just up at the right time online where it just. I think sometimes I catch them. I'm really proud where I'm in like the first 2,000 views on YouTube. And
you're like typing in the comments fast.
I'm very excited about this, but for very weird reasons. Obviously, I love Marvel. There's no secret there that I'm a big fan.
What?
But also, there's so much on this film.
Yeah.
Because of obviously Chadwick Boseman dying and stuff, and given first black focus Marvel film, there's so much that pressure on these films. What I was really happy with when I saw it was they know what's happened to Chadwick Boseman. They didn't recast him, which was obviously a decision they made earlier on, but they didn't lean on that in any way. I'm sure it's going to be dealt with, and it's going to be dealt with very beautifully and respectfully in the films, because even when they have fake deaths in Marvel, they deal with it very well. So I'm sure they're going to do something incredible for this. But what I loved is they didn't focus on it, and they've gone, right, let's keep the energy of that first film up and just make it into something entirely its own thing. Yeah. And, it's touched upon, but it's not in any way, you don't feel like, oh, fuck, how are they going to get around this? They're absolutely just coming guns blazing.
I think they did a really good job with this trailer. As we head into these trailers, I've not said this, I don't think, on any episode, but it just occurred to me recently. All of these trailers are linked in the show notes. So if you haven't seen them, you can literally just click on it right now, watch it, and then come back, and then we'll talk about it. It'll make so much more sense. Because I imagine, maybe most people listening haven't just happened upon a lot of these random trailers, but you can watch them to make them make more sense as we talk about them.
But you picked some really mainstream trailers that everyone's getting in their timeline. That's right.
It's Wakanda Forever and that DTV movie with Vinnie Jones. Everyone's seeing those. They're all over Twitter. I'll just say this about Wakanda Forever. I didn't love the first Black Panther movie. I thought, obviously, politically and for all those reasons, it's great and it's amazing that it exists. But I think as a movie, it was fine. And I think the finale was weak. The CGI was ropey. It was a good introduction to the character. There were some really nice beats in it, but I didn't love the movie as a whole. So to be excited by this trailer, which I think speaks to the editing of the trailer, I think was really great. The way they put it together, the way No Woman, No Cry segged into Kendrick was very, very cool. And I think the tone where it kind of started in that quite respectful tone and then slowly built and then turned into Marvel, everything's exploding. Don't worry, everything will explode. Marvel fans, don't worry. That was pretty cool. So and like you say, there is an enormous weight on the shoulders of Ryan Coogler and everyone involved in this movie. So I think they're going to deliver something impressive one way or the other. And from that to a straight-to-video movie. I just feel like you haven't been here for a minute. You've only seen all the good trailers. This one popped up, and I thought, this is absolutely textbook. It's a movie called Bulletproof, not the Adam Sandler movie, or I imagine there's at least 10 other movies called Bulletproof. It's a DTV movie. It has to have the most generic title. It's called Bulletproof. It's got Vinnie Jones in it and a guy called James Clayton, who I don't know, but he also wrote and directed it, it turns out. I think I can preempt what you're about to say, which is this movie will either be absolutely fine or an absolute piece of shit.
I don't know. Do you know what? When I read in the notes what this film was, I was like, oh God, what is this going to be? Looks all right.
It
looks all right. You know what? This trailer's only missed one beat for me, and that's not using LaRue Bulletproof for the entire thing.
Couldn't afford it. There's no way they could afford that.
But yeah, it's really interesting as well, because 2 days ago I rewatched Snatch for the first time in what I think is about 20 years. It came as a recommendation on Netflix.
It was next to Swordfish on your DVD shelf.
Yeah.
You're going through them.
Well, yeah, it's alphabetized. So we'd be close. And I rewatched it, and I remember going, isn't it weird that Vinnie Jones just became an actor? I remember thinking that out loud, and then this pops up today, and you know what? It looks like he's having a great time.
No disrespect to old Vin, but when you see Vinnie Jones in a movie like this, it's not what I would call the hallmark of quality. It's not a stamp of this will be good.
He's definitely, though. I think he's definitely, because he was just a hard man footballer, and who got cast as a hard man.
In Lock,
and I'll keep saying it, but I think he's definitely, fallen into acting and picked up his craft a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to him. He's still in movies. That's more than I can say for me and you. He's got a longer IMDb than both of us, I think.
But I think as well. I think like it took him years to sort of shake that. Because I'm always curious about that. Was it a conscious decision for him to go into films, or was it that someone saw him and thought you'd be great in this role and he fell in love with it? And I think if it's the latter, that makes me so happy. Like, so happy. Like, because I think he plays those roles really well. I think. Yeah,
he does look like he's having a nice time.
Yeah. There's some roles, and I never thought I'd say this, but there's some roles only Vinnie Jones could play.
Only Vinnie Jones. Incredible scenes. Well, I mean, that's the dream, isn't it, as an actor, to be, you're the only person who could do this. And that is why, Vinnie, I am casting you in the movie Bulletproof. No, not any of the movies that have been called Bulletproof before. We're making a new movie called Bulletproof. In fact, I bet the script wasn't called Bulletproof. I bet it was called Defense of Honor, or, like Revenge Times. Yeah. And then they picked 2 words from the random DTV movie title generator. And Bulletproof it is.
Do you want to know something that is the most specific thing I could ever say that is going to be such a niche even for me and you? There was a scene in this trailer.
Yeah.
And it generally made me think, oh, they've turned the Enrique Hero video into a film.
The music video with Jennifer Love Hewitt in it.
Yeah.
Enrique Iglesias.
Rewatch it. They've westernized the Enrique Hero video.
Oh, classic whitewashing. Vinny, what are you doing, mate? Unbelievable scenes.
I'm telling you, pause
this podcast. I'm now going to have to put a link to Enrique Iglesias's
watch this trailer
in the show notes as well.
I'm telling you. And please let me know if I'm wrong or right on Twitter, because I'm right.
Fair play. I mean, it's an epic video. Why wouldn't you want to rewatch it? I feel like we've talked about Bulletproof more than anyone expected.
Yeah. Should we quickly sum them up? Just sum them up.
2 more. Yeah. Go. Real quick ones coming to high R. I think it's now Preman, Silent Fury, an Indonesian movie. Don't know much about it. Looks
great.
Interesting. Looks great. Gritty. Your classic revenge tale. Preman. He's Silent Fury. I think it's a deaf guy. That's why it's called that. Silent Fury. Preman. Is that it? I've got nothing else to say about it.
If you don't know, maybe just don't dwell on it.
I feel like I want to give it the airtime because we've given Bulletproof so much airtime.
Yeah, I mean, this deserves more airtime because it does look like the martial arts in this is going to be incredible.
Yeah,
like I think this is going to be one of those films that I assume I don't know enough, but I assume like mid-low budget that everyone's just excited about because the fighting is slick.
Yeah,
And
this looks like a
I think it's gonna be
scrappy
great.
Indonesian actioner with, a bit of an interesting twist. I probably will watch it because, as regular listeners, sorry, I became quite
What's
drunk
wrong
there.
with- What happened whilst I was away?
As regular, the whole thing went to shit, mate. It's gone off the rails. It turns
We're
out
about
you.
45 minutes into the podcast now.
Oh, Matt, you just don't leave me again, please. I can't manage on my own. Anyway, it's on HIR, which regular listeners will know I pay $3.99 a month for and do not watch enough movies of. So this one will be my month's worth. And finally, just a quick shout, because I feel like maybe this is up your alley, for the Chinese movie Warriors of Future. Why don't they ever get anyone to check that the grammar makes sense in movie titles in the Far East? I don't know. It's got mechs in it. It's a
You've
mech
never
movie.
sounded more like a privileged Westerner ever. I'm sure whatever the title is in Chinese, the grammar is sound.
I'm sure it is, but then why call it Warriors of Future? You telling me no one who paid for this, what is clearly like $100 million movie?
You haven't seen the film. Maybe it's a big
no
twist.
one went. You probably do need to put the word "the" in there, to be fair, for that to make sense.
Maybe it's supposed to be read as waff.
Waff.
Maybe they're like,
It's
look,
like
if we put the
RRR.
T in,
They reverse
it's
engineer.
gonna be like
What
what
a
the fuck?
film.
So they wanted waff.
Matt, are you excited about Mech Warriors? That feels like
No,
something that
I'm
would
not,
be up your
but-
street. Oh, boy.
It does look like it's exactly up my street. I've never seen a live action mech film really that is
What?
good.
What
That
about
is good.
Robot Jocks?
Robo Jocks, thank you.
Robot Jocks from the probably
yeah.
80s. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And its sequel.
And its sequel. But again, like, there's something about, I say this like I haven't seen a good one. Anime does mechs so well.
course,
Like
yeah.
Evangelion, obviously the greatest of all time. Gundam. I'm not going to start listing animes. There's like a million one. But
We get it, mate. You know about anime. But this looks like they've put so much money behind it that it
Yeah.
can deliver like, actual mechs doing mech stuff from all the video games and animes.
But again, that's always the problem with these films. They always focus on how to make the mechs work and the fights, and they don't put into the human interest. So hopefully that'll pick
Are you
it up.
listening, Michael Bay's Transformers?
Oh god! But yeah, hopefully, you know what? It looks slick. The effects look great. So maybe it'll just be a sleeper hit.
Let's hope we care about the guys inside the mechs, yeah?
Yeah. Thank
People
you.
don't. People talk about mechs a lot, but they never really.
Also,
Who's
if they
driving that
haven't
mech?
put in someone critically underage to save the world, they
Oh, my
really
goodness.
disservice the whole genre. Hi, yeah, we've got these mechs that are going to fight these creatures.
I'm going to need a 14-year-old.
Unfortunately, we need some 14-year-olds to pilot it. Okay. And are they just going to spend a lot of the time talking about what goes on inside their own head? Oh, absolutely. That's part of how we get them to really work for us. Child soldiers. That's essentially what the mech
That's
industry
basically what it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plot of so many things, right? The Last Starfighter. Isn't that? Isn't that a kid who
Pretty
plays
much,
video games?
yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
I'm just
And then aliens come from.
just referencing movies from the 1980s today. I'm aging the podcast up. We've got to crack on because we've got.
Do you know? Yeah, we have to. It's been so long. We've not even got close to Prey.
Well, we haven't been on the pod in 2 episodes. We've got to do the catch-ups, but it's the height of summer, and we've both in rooms where we've closed all the curtains and windows for sound, and I can tell that you are as clammy and shiny as I am.
I've got to go out after this. I'm going to have a sink wash and change my t-shirt.
A sink wash. Let's head to the air-conditioned cinema for our feature presentation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Dodge this.
All right, we've made it. We're in the cinema, and I've made a grave error, Matthew. This movie is not showing in the cinema. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
not.
But the air conditioning is here. Let's just enjoy the AC for a bit, and then let's head back to our house for the $8.99 for Disney Plus.
Is it Prey or is it Pre? Prey or Pre?
Oh yeah, it's obviously pre.
Preman?
It's Bremen.
Yeah.
We're talking about Prey. It's Predator 5. It's gone straight to Hulu in the US or Disney Plus everywhere else in the world for what some will argue are probably some bullshit business politics reasons. And I think a very interesting place to start is this. This would have looked really great in a cinema. Bullet train, too much CG, everything in a studio. This, beautiful landscapes, or 90% shot on location. An absolute treat.
It was Hulu funded it, right? Is that why it's gone straight to?
Don't know if that's true. I think I heard something that said if it had come out in the cinema, then it would have gone to HBO Max on streaming.
Oh.
I don't know why. Maybe that's the deal that the studio has. So Disney put it straight out on Hulu. Okay. I will have to check those sources, and I don't know the full story. But clearly, in the wake of the amount of movies that have come out in the cinema have been, maybe not up to par, I think it's very interesting that as a straight to streaming movie, this one looks so great and doesn't suffer from a lot of the straight to streaming things that we might have gone over a lot in the past, and except possibly the CGI, but we'll get to that. It's I suppose prequel to the Predator universe, right? In that it is just set in the 1700s in Native America, or as it was probably known then, America, or whatever that is.
Probably
in
not
Comanche.
called America.
So it's a Native American tribe, and there is a young girl who, due to the nature of the leadership and, old-fashioned ways, is not allowed to be a hunter in the tribe because women don't do the hunting. So her story is she wants to become a hunter. And that's just, like a nice coming of age tale. However, another hunter arrives, and his name is Chris Predator.
Chris Predator. OBE.
Basically, that's the story. Then the Predator arrives and all hell breaks loose. Now, Matthew, I'm going to refer to you as the Predator expert for this podcast, if you don't mind, based on the fact that you've seen all of these movies and I've only seen the first two.
Love the Predator, and have bed waiting so long for them to realize all you need to do with the Predator is put them in a good situation with good characters, and Predator will pred.
And just pop a Predator in. The Pred's going to pred.
But this is the problem that both the Alien and Predator franchises have suffered from. The lore becomes so much bigger and the imagery becomes so much bigger than the stories that they have focused so many times on trying to make things slick or, too big or so much more than what came before it. Going back to basics is the best thing they ever could have done. And not only going back to basics, they've tied it in chronologically. Like they've tied it directly to Predator 2, which is incredible. And everyone got really excited about that. Yeah.
Please explain to me how.
The pistol that Danny Glover gets at the end of Predator when
is that the
Predator gives it. Yeah. So that's the gun with the inscription. Yeah. So they always were going to do that. And that's, again, as soon as the trailer came out, whatever it was, a year ago, whatever, me and a lot of other nerds went 1700s. I know what's happening, and everyone assumed that would be like the end. But the fact of the matter is, and spoilers, that it's just a nice little nod, which gives sort of ties it into the main canon, and two opens it up for a lot more Predator in that era.
Otherwise, it's a completely self-contained story, right? You could absolutely not have seen any Predator movies, and this would just be like, oh, this is an interesting tale of a Comanche tribe up against some sort of alien. You might have the same sort of questions that I found myself having, which I do think I know the answers to, but they are not answered in this movie, which is, why is he here and what does he want?
They never, ever explain that, really. They just know that it comes for the thrill of the hunt.
It hunts, right, for sport.
Yeah, but that's the idea, isn't it? And one thing that this film does really well is... because very smart decision making, one, the main character an underdog, and two, their whole thing is essentially what Predator's doing, although Predator's doing it for sport, theirs is essentially for survival.
Survival, yeah.
Yeah.
And literally
that idea-
they're hunting to eat, right? Whereas he is just hunting for fun.
Do you know, this only clicked about 2 days after I watched the film, and I had a real Joey and Friends GIF moment of eyes open suddenly. I only realised it's predator and prey. That's the whole thing. Like, it didn't even click why they called it prey.
You just thought it was just like, there's no like.
No, I
deities
got
in this
it, but I
movie.
didn't think about it together. And then I was like, of course. But yeah, I think it's a really smart decision, like making them an underdog and also what they want to be as in a hunter, because it sets up a really useful tool for filmmaking and for what's it called? I don't want to say metaphor. What's it called in film? Symbolism.
Oh, okay.
The symbolism, like they focus a lot of the time on predators and prey in the wildlife, like in the animal kingdom.
Yeah,
and I think it's a really interesting thing about that idea of someone who's technologically advanced as the predator. Would they see what they're hunting as insignificant as animals and stuff like that, even though it's trophy hunting?
Well, he sort of goes through he the predator when they arrive. The predator starts small, right? Kills like a rabbit, then he kind of moves up to like a wolf, and then he kind of keeps going up this no pun intended totem pole of prey until he faces his ultimate foe, man.
Or in this case, woman.
And in the original, Arnie was a huge hulking, well, he was Arnie at the peak of his Arniness, right? And fucking Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura, these like the machoist, veins bulging guys with huge machine guns. And then, but to defeat the Predator, Arnie ultimately had to go back to sort of old-fashioned ways, right? Like all his technology was useless. So in this movie, you start at that point where they don't know what a gun is. They've got bow and arrows and spears and a tomahawk. Not just any tomahawk, though. She's attached it to a rope, and it's like a pretty cool weapon. I like that part particularly. And when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, this seems like a fun concept, but how's this tiny little girl going to fight a predator? And I think they handle that very well. There was no point in this movie where I went, come on, because you've got to outsmart it. You can't beat it with brawn. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't beat it with his fists. Jesse Ventura hasn't got time to bleed. They still couldn't punch the predator out. So it's about outsmarting it, isn't it?
The backlash on that point of a woman wouldn't be able to defeat a predator. The internet backlash is incredibly predictable on that.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot. I haven't seen it, thankfully.
I spent a couple of hours
oh God,
just reading through headaches.
I can only imagine.
Unbelievable. I can believe an advanced alien could come to Earth. And I do think I myself could punch out a predator. But the thought of a woman, predator's gone woke. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But I think what is great, and what make this, two things make this film brilliant. It's definitely the second best Predator. And I think most of us would say the original Predator is the ultimate, because even though it's now very dated in its own way, it's very, very sleek, very simple. And the fact, again, that they set up a premise which is quite outlandish, but they don't dwell on it. It's the same thing that every other Predator film has always been, but what if Predator was here? Whereas this one, it very much goes, okay, the Predator's there. What is the human element in this? What are they doing if the Predator wasn't there? And it is that perfect thing. It's the shark in Jaws. It is, you take something and you disrupt it with conflict. It's the most simple narrative ever.
Yeah. They're just trying to get on with their lives as a Comanche tribe. They're just hunting and getting on with trying to stay alive.
But I mean, they have all that sort of, what I love about films like this, and they also have all that sort of peripheral commentary with regarding to Europeans arriving in America and stuff like that. So they're already, their way of life.
Luckily, it was the French. This is the one movie where we don't get to be arseholes for 5 minutes. It's quite a nice break, actually. I feel like the Brits have taken a bit of a kicking recently in movies. I thought, here we go. It's going to be some...
I haven't watched it yet, but there is a cut of the film in Comanche, and I haven't watched it. I was going to watch it this weekend because I am curious, because I assume they chose French for the American-speaking audience so they could trap away the language. So you're not supposed to understand what they're saying, because she doesn't understand what they're saying. So I think they made that decision of French for that reason.
Yes.
I did wonder if the Comanche one, they would have gone and left it as French. I assume so. But as they're going to probably be doing separate takes, would they have gone with American? I don't know. I haven't watched it. But I thought all that stuff is that amazing thing about, again, I'm going to use this term so many times, but again, stripping back to basics, taking away the idea that, the threat of it's not another human and putting it onto something, and then having all that sort of grotty, horrible stuff that happened during that era of people going a little bit off and feral because there's no law around them and stuff like that, and seeing how the French contingency sort of behaved to the Comanche contingency, even when this is going on, seeing that some people are just horrible people, other people have that common ground, all that. But again, all this is peripheral stuff. In someone else's hands, this film could have very much gone down, it's a Comanche tribe and they think it's a spirit or something like that. Blah, 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 and all that stuff. But what they did is they went, no, this is a story about this character who moves through this plot, and at the end, they are fundamentally different. And it is such a linear path to go through some quite complex beats and some really good character development. That's all it needed to be. And with the first Predator, the characters, again, I think Predator and Aliens are brilliant examples of taking characters who have coexisted with the characters before we meet them and just allowed you to come into it. I think this does the same. And Dan Trachtenberg, is it, who directed it? They've always been great at that. They did it with 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, which I haven't seen still.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. I love it. Again, they take something bigger than the plot and they focus it in. And I think he's brilliant at that. Like you said before, they've let the sort of landscape do a lot of the storytelling. They've let a lot of the sort of wilderness be this sort of element of the film and stuff. And they've absolutely just done what they always needed to do with Predator, which they tried to with Predator 2, to be fair. They said, what happens if the Predator arrived in a downtown
in a
LA, I think it is. Yeah. And it's essentially, gangs and things. So they said, what is the sort of most volatile element of American society at the time, and put the Predator there. Whereas this time they've gone, right,
we've tried this a few times. It hasn't. It's not going great. Let's reboot the reboot. I don't remember that much about the original Predator, aside from, it being an Arnie classic, which I've doubtless seen a handful of times when it first came out. But why were they there? Because I sort of remember, there's oh boy. Before we open this Pandora's box, at the beginning of the movie, they're in the jungle for a reason, right?
Carl Weathers' character, Dylan, used to work with Arnie Schwarzenegger's character, Dutch. They came up through the military together. Now,
has the DA got him pushing too many pencils?
They have got him pushing too many pencils, the son of a bitch. So basically, someone accused Arnie of being the best. He fluffs Arnie. He basically makes him out to be what he is. Their team is a group of elites. So Jim Hopper, who they both knew, who was another soldier, his chopper's gone down somewhere in the jungle.
It's a rescue
I can't remember where it's set, where there's obviously guerrilla warfare and stuff going on. So he sends him in to, quote unquote, find out what happened to Jim Hopper, which, if you watch Stranger Things, I'm hoping is Jim Hopper in Stranger Things. And I think that would be the greatest team up ever. But Chopper's gone down and Dylan has sent him in to investigate what happened to the Chopper, but secretly it looks like he knows that the Predator's there and they actually want to find out what's happening there and get the alien tech. So ultimately Arnie's team is to go in and discover what happened. So they think they're just on like a guerrilla mission. So they go to infiltrate this village.
Yeah, because the whole beginning is like, there's all the knock, knock, and stick around, and just him like blowing everything up for a while before the Predator even gets a look in, right? Yeah.
But again, they use that as a one to establish character and two to establish all how the predator, everything we know about the predator now, their vision, the way they track, all that stuff.
Yeah.
They use it to celebrate that. Also, it's probably restrictions because it wasn't had a big budget at the time, but it wasn't like a massive budget. Also, they reshot loads of it. Did you know that originally the Predator was Jean-Claude Van Damme in a suit?
What?
Yeah. And it looked terrible, so they redesigned it and everything to make
They made him very tall.
But again, Predator, I always compare Predator to Jaws because it does the same thing. Once you establish the shark and you've seen the shark, you understand the shark. So the less you see of something that is a predator in a film, and the more you give it this sort of presence, the bigger the threat becomes. I think that's what Prey did really well, more so than the original Predator. The original Predator is definitely an action sci-fi, whereas this, I would say, is an action horror.
Yeah. So you're saying we shouldn't have it on the podcast and we should delete the entire recording?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you would. Okay. I would absolutely fly in. But yeah, I think that's what makes it, again, it separates it.
As I was watching it, I was like, this is not I don't think this is a straight up action film. It is sort of, I suppose it's like sci-fi, a little horror,
Yes.
but it has action in it, and plus it's Predator. So, it comes from a lineage of Arnie, the 80s.
But again, we've talked about this before. A lot of Arnie films are action sci-fis, but
That's true.
For some reason, because it's got Arnie in it, it's old. You just count it as a normal action film.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what happened. But I will say with this, to your point of, don't reveal the shark too early, blah, blah, blah. You don't really see Preds till a solid half an hour into this movie. They do very well to kind of drip feed it out. I did wonder, there was a shot quite early on where you see the ship, the Predator's spaceship. And I was like, I wonder if that got noted in, I wonder if it was up to the
No,
writers.
it's absolutely scripted because they use it to tell the Thunderbird myth, which is one of America's greatest bits of mythology, which
what's that?
Neil Gaiman is obsessed with because it's a big part of American gods if you've ever read the book, and that's the only reason I know about it. There's I assume it's an old Native American myth. I don't know enough about the mythology, but it's always tied in with it. But the Thunderbird is just a massive, exactly that, a Thunderbird that lives in the sky, and its feathers have mythical properties, and when you hear the thunder before you see it. So the fact that there was that big boom when it enters the atmosphere, which we would know as it actually entering the atmosphere, is perceived from our character's point of view as thunder, which ties into the mythology, which is why she mentions the Thunderbird later on.
I didn't recall that at all. So great. Do they spoon feed that to you, or is it very much like it's touched upon?
No, it's just, again, it's touched on the peripheral, and this is something I only know little bits about from seeing little things, but I can't remember if it was writer or one of the main producers, possibly both. I think they were Native American, and they wanted
the producer,
same with Joe Trachtenberg. They all wanted to make sure it wasn't that old sort of, Western view of cowboys and Indians.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure this was a human story, and everything was dealt with as a peripheral to the character's development and the plot. So the way of life and all that stuff, which...
Yeah, there was some nice sort of way of life touches and things that didn't have to be there, but kind of painted a nice picture of like, oh, this is what someone would have used as a toothbrush in the 1700s
But again, it's exactly that.
This is how they get all the bits of skin out of the hide of an animal, and just those kind of little like, oh, these are really nice attention to detail things that somebody was clearly like, hey, you know what is the real thing? You should do that. And you're like, oh, very cool. Okay, I'm learning.
It's that slow thing of decoding 300 years of Western propaganda, I guess you'd call it, and the Western view. Like, again, films directly come out of that early idea of cowboys and Indians and stuff like that. And there is a thing about colonizing and stuff like that where you treat indigenous populations and tribes and stuff as lesser and less advanced, when the greatest thing that stories like this do is they focus on the humanism of it and remind us that we are all human regardless of anything else. And I think that is something that makes it even more relatable on a horror level, is the idea that something has come in and it is entirely overbearing. And then you have all that sort of history and stuff, because we view ourselves with the modern eye as, oh, we react to this way, and 300 years ago they reacted to it that way because of all the way we perceive history and stuff. But the actual fact is, again, they just went,
how do we tell an interesting human story? Yeah. And I think they do that really well. And the sort of I'd say like the sort of third act arrival of the colonizers is a sort of, I was like, well, where are we going? Like, how do we, keep upping the stakes? And then, oh, okay, there's baddies as well.
Can we just talk about that as well? Because we talked about the story a lot, but oh my God, that action sequence when, again, like not to spoil things, but when they're tied to a tree and the action sequence unfolds around them.
Very good.
And that's all I'll say for people who haven't watched it, but I assume if you're listening to this, you probably have.
Yeah.
That action sequence is probably the best action sequence that has ever been in a Predator film. Something I loved about this, something that Joe Trachtenberg and all the production team and the writers have done really well, is we understand Predator from what we've seen in other films, but we also understand time. So they've clearly backdated what would this advanced civilization's tech be like 300 previous to what we've learned it.
The Predator doesn't have lasers and missiles.
They do, but they are not as advanced. So their tech is still essentially the same.
He's got a Predator bow and arrow.
Yeah, they've still got it. He's had stuff like that before, the spikes and the sword and all that stuff. Oh yeah, but they've made it look like a different era tech. And again, there's a contention about the Predator helmet and stuff like that, which I really love. They properly folk horrored that helmet up. But yeah, I really love that they've gone, right, not only have we got to take our story 300 years back in human terms, what would an advanced civilization who have interstellar travel, how would they change over that 300 years? And, obviously this...
And it's like, there's just not quite as good technology as he had in the year 1987 or whatever. He's just like 200 years less, but he still, his invisibility cloak still does that. Still, I would say in those 200 years, and well, maybe it makes more sense in this movie. It's
I'm gonna make you do the maths again. 200, Simon?
300 years?
Give or take, yeah. Okay. Closer to 300. 200.
Okay, but I was thinking from 1987 to 1780, 250 years, let's call it.
Okay. Yeah? We'll meet in the middle.
Don't make me do maths live. Why can't they make his invisible thing stay invisible? Anytime anyone touches it, it goes off. It's got like a kill switch.
But again, they've clearly based that on existing human tech now. Like when it was made, it was like an invisible stealth thing, and it was clearly there. Now they do have those things where it's cameras, and you can do it. And I love how you can see the sort of hexagons of the suit when it's up close. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's very cool.
I really love this film. I can't wait. Again,
I was very impressed.
I was going to watch it again this weekend, but had a visit from the family, so we ended up doing nice things. But I'm going to watch it in Comanche as soon as I've got like a night free, just to see if there's any differences.
Yeah, I think that's a very nice touch. It's a dub, so it's the same movie, but the actors have dubbed their English lines in Comanche. So it's a bit like watching RRR in Hindi.
Oh, I thought it was a complete.
No, they didn't refilm it. So I'm like, I do get it, and I'm all for watching things in their original language, but you will be watching people's mouths not matching.
I was hoping that it would be, what's the program called? Norseman. You know Norseman?
I'm aware of it, where they filmed it in English and Norwegian.
I was hoping it was like that. Yeah. In Norwegian,
no. As far as I'm aware, the original actors dubbed their performances in Comanche, which is commendable and a lovely touch. And we haven't really talked about the actors in it. The dude who plays her brother in this is his first gig.
Yeah. He's
fair
incredible.
play to him. He's absolutely smashed that. And his name is Dakota Beavers. They've got great names.
Yeah, I know.
And Amber Midthunder. I mean, it's just, you just get great names.
Amber Midthunder is in Legion, isn't she?
Apparently so, yes, according to her IMDb.
Because it took me about half the film to remember where I knew her from, because I fucking love Legion. I think it was one of those shows that is so good, and for some reason, no one seemed to watch. And I absolutely loved it.
I watched the first episode, and
that
mad. Was it. Yeah.
It's like Prisoner levels of surreal. It's just great.
I think that was what I was like, interesting, but no, I guess not.
Oh, I loved it. But yeah, she was brilliant in that as well. I think she's just going to be one of those stars that goes on to, bigger and bigger and bigger things. But I think the amount of positive stuff that's come from this, I think everyone in this film is probably going to have a very
this is an absolute
career.
home run. I mean, we're talking like a 95, 96 or something on Rotten Toms here. Everyone's very impressed by this. I wonder, and this is just something that has occurred to me, if it had been released in the cinema, I wonder if that would have affected people's perceived level of how good it is. Like when I watched The Grey Man in a cinema, because it came out for 2 weeks in the cinema, and I was like, it's going to be better on a big screen, isn't it? And I think I liked it more than if I'd watched it in my house. So I do wonder if it would be better in the cinema, or if some of the things that maybe you were like, that CG was a little bit, maybe if those things had been shown up a little bit more, people might not have been so kind.
I think a film in the cinema is so immersive that you would have been sucked in by it. I would not be surprised if this gets a limited cinema run very soon. And because people will be like, I wish I'd seen this in the cinema.
Yeah.
And then people like us will go, I'm absolutely going watching that.
Prince Charles, Leicester Square, get on it, mate. Come on, you did it with
absolutely will
RRR.
do. But again, on the other side of this, people, because again, like they've absolutely reinvented the Predator franchise, but at the same time, people might be going, another Predator film. Oh. Like, so it's probably done it favors having so many people have Disney over here now. They've probably gone, oh yeah.
That's true. It's arguably had more eyes on it, perhaps, than people who were like, I'm not going to watch a Predator film in the cinema. They're like, oh, well, all right. I heard it's all right. Click. Done. It's included in my $8.99.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say both of us have enjoyed this a great deal.
Yeah. I could talk about this all day.
Yes. But that is for the live podcast.
Yeah.
The 24-hour non-stop charity live podathon. My only slight question I had coming out of this, I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed the slow build. I enjoyed the let's not show the monster in its entirety right at the beginning. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the efficiency of the storytelling. They spoke Comanche occasionally, and I don't know if you did this. I'm sure a million people also did this. They'd speak Comanche and there'd be no subtitles. And then I had to go into the menu, turn on English closed captions to check, wait, is it because I'm in the Netherlands? They're not showing me the English subtitles. No, they speak Comanche. It's not subtitled. You just kind of get the vibe, but there's not an enormous amount of spoken dialogue in the movie. It's very efficient storytelling, right? They just get a lot done with few words. I think my one, if I had to have a niggle with it, was the ending was a little, I liked it. I didn't quite get it. This is, I assume everyone's watched it, so we can spoiler territory this.
Can you hold that? I'm going to wee myself if I don't know. So ending. Genuinely, I've been busting for about 10 minutes.
So at the very end, right, earlier on in the movie, she knocks his laser hat off. And any movie fan will go, that's definitely going to play into this later. Sure enough, it does. Actually, even at the beginning when she fell in the bog, I just thought that was like a nice reference.
This is my
to
one
the
niggle
Arnie,
as well.
The Arnie
I know
movie.
exactly what you're going to... Yeah, I thought that as well, that was going to play out as the mud. Your niggle is going to be my niggle, I think, already.
So she gets his hat at the end, his laser blasting spear dart hat, and she puts it to one side. And then he uses his lasers to target her, but he's not wearing his hat. And the hat is pointed at him. And if you don't think about it, you're like, yeah, it's good. We've seen what the hat does. We've seen that it targets and it shoots the thing. So if we don't look at it too closely, she puts it, he presses the button, it shoots him. It's a booby trap. Good old, she's got him. Quality, got the Predator. But even at the time, I was like, I don't get it. Why has he done that? He's not wearing the hat.
He He knows how his tech works. Yeah, that was my only. That was the only thing that.
And like I said, there were no other moments where I went, "Oh, come on!"
Yeah.
Why did he point the laser and then it shot him? I think we both got an issue with it, and I don't. He shoots one, and then it bounces off a whole load of trees. I'm not.
I thought the guide sort of looped it round. I don't know. Yeah, it's my only thing as well. Again, another reason why I want to watch it, because I thought I missed something.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
I think we got to have a rewatch, and maybe it's one of those. Come on, it's a bit of movie foreshadowing delivered. Check, he's done. Anyway, that was my only point of contention with what was otherwise a very enjoyable. I want to say surprisingly enjoyable, because I think we've sort of gotten a little straight to streaming movies, I think, have lowered our expectations somewhat, because they've started pumping out so many of them recently.
Yeah, this is cinema.
And we're kind of like, it's
home.
okay for it to be a 3-star movie. Whereas I went to the cinema to see Bullet Train, felt a little bit disappointed. Saw this at home, loved it.
Yeah, I think.
Don't know what my point is, but I think you get it.
It's cinema at home, isn't it? It's story and character will carry it, whereas flashy visuals or fast-paced stuff, if it doesn't have that sort of concrete to bind it, doesn't matter. It's just, again, simple, efficient storytelling, done well to such a level that, it doesn't matter. But again, given the cinematics that it layered onto it, it's just a very good, efficient film that happens to be a legacy film that's reinventing a legacy that had gone stale. And I think everyone's now saying the same things. What about Predator with pirates? What about Predator in this?
Where's he going to go next? Victorian London.
We are going to watch the franchise decline itself again very
100%.
suddenly.
The next 3 already commissioned Predator movies, diminishing returns. All I need to know, Matthew, before we toddle off is 2 things. 1, it's time for your action replay moment.
Right, my action replay. Man.
It's not a horror movie podcast. It's not a sci-fi movie podcast.
Because if it was a horror replay, absolutely, to go back to earlier on, that bloody rat. There was a rat. That bloody rat.
There are some good kills in this movie, I will say that. And they are more horror movie kills than action movie kills. We know the Predator has got a very unique set of weapons. The one he does with a net, nobody saw that.
The net has been seen in Predator.
Has it?
Yeah.
In the original?
Not in the original. The net is in the... Is it in the original? I can't remember if the net's in the original, but it's definitely in an AVP, and it's in a few others.
It just reminded me of the movie Cube, because I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, or the original Resident Evil, but with lasers.
Oh yeah, of course. That's not my action replay.
Action replay.
All right, I'll do mine while you think. Either the moment where she ties a string / bungee cord to the tomahawk and realizes that she can use it as a sweet, sweet martial arts style weapon. What do you call the... there is that weapon that they use in like Chinese martial arts that's like a dart attached to a rope, isn't it? I don't know what that's called, but she kind of makes like a retractable tomahawk that you can throw, pull it back. That's very cool. Second is a pseudo one-shot scene where she duffs up a whole bunch of French baddies on a little encampment, which is a lovely marriage of clever filming, artful doubling, I suspect, and then our star popping in at the end is my suspicion. But it's a very cool little
I think she's quite capable, because she does a lot in Legion as well. So I think she's probably quite trained, I imagine.
There was just a lot of shots where I was like, I can't actually see her face in this. Yeah. So
she does an amazing takedown in that sequence as well, though.
Yeah.
Love a good takedown.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's my 1.5 action replay moments.
I think Predator just going full opening the toy box in that scene that I mentioned earlier. I think that whole sequence is my action replay. It's such a great sequence, and Dan Trachtenberg knows where the camera's needed. He does it in everything I've seen him do. He knows what to show you and what not to show you to enhance what you're already watching. And that whole sequence is a testament to that. Just going, this thing is there, but you're not fully sure where. And when it is there, it's got some toys. And
he has got some toys, hasn't he? I didn't realize, well, because there is so many other Predator movies that I haven't seen, I was like, ooh, he's got like a little fold-out knife thing. He's got, in fairness, he uses like a bear trap to explode somebody's head at one point.
I think that might be my action replay. It was great. I was trying to narrow it down. That is very, very good. Anyway, we've gone on too long this podcast, so let's just say that whole sequence is my replay.
Amazing. In that case, Matthew, it's been an absolute treat to have you back.
Always
and the
a pleasure.
one thing that's been missing for the last 2 episodes
I hope you'd canned it.
Your favourite. There's about another 200 cards in this pile.
God.
No one's given me any feedback, good or bad. So until that happens, it remains in the show. It is the action movie trivia game that I got given as a gift for my birthday. And I insist on using on Matt every episode. Here we go. In which movie is ex-soldier Brian on a quest to rescue his daughter, Maggie Grace?
I mean, that's every film I've ever seen, but the specifics of Brian and Maggie Grace. I don't know if I know this one.
You definitely do. And I feel like you could put like one word into this question which would fully give it away. And I think that's why they've deliberately been so vague in some parts, very specific. Brian. I don't know a lot of action movies with a Brian.
Is it because the name is the surname?
You also used the word specific.
Yeah.
Because he has a specific set of skills.
Oh, it's Taken.
It's Taken. I've basically gave it away to him. It's a welcome back one. We don't count it towards the leaderboard.
Do you know what? I don't know if I must have seen Taken.
But if I read you the options, which were A, kidnapped,
as
B,
soon as
taken,
it would have been,
C, chained, D, the captive, you would have been like, I don't know 3 of those movies.
Yeah.
One,
Yeah.
that's definitely Taken. And you would have been right. But let's call that a rehearsal.
Brian.
He's called Brian, yeah. Very interesting. A lot of interesting choices in that movie. She follows you too around Europe as an 18-year-old. Unbelievable. Anyway, Matt, it's an absolute treat to have you back. And I'm delighted that Predator 17 has panned out to be an absolute cracker. We will not be covering Bullet Train next episode, I'm afraid. But we have both seen it and enjoyed it to different degrees. Both of us absolutely sweating
degrees the word there.
Thank you so much for joining. If you have enjoyed this episode, you can follow Matt and I on Twitter, Instagram, and our websites. All of those links in the bio. And one more thing, if you have enjoyed this podcast, why not share it with someone who you think would also enjoy it in real life by burning it onto a USB stick, or just send them a link or post it on your socials. You'll love to see it. We will see you in a couple of weeks' time. In the meantime, keep kicking.
Keep kicking.
I'm bringing it back.
It is.